Okay, let's dive into something really fundamental to our lives, maybe in ways you haven't quite thought about before.
Hmm.
Look around you, the food you ate, the clothes you've got on, maybe even the fuel in your car.
Right.
Chances are a lot of that stuff started out as, well, a crop.
Absolutely. It's easy to forget, but we really do live in a world built on plants.
Yeah.
Cultivated plants managed on a huge scale.
Yeah. And it's way more than just, dinner.
So much more.
Exactly. So, for this deep dive, what we want to do is give you a kind of shortcut to understanding just how essential crops are, how pervasive.
Yeah, reaching into corners of our lives you might find pretty surprising.
Totally. So, we'll explore all these incredible uses, and then we'll sort of pull back the curtain on the actual process, right? The
Yeah.
complex, ancient, but also like constantly changing process of getting them.
Bring them from the field
Yeah.
to us. We've been looking at sources that break down both sides, the amazing uses and the nitty-gritty of production.
Get ready for maybe a new perspective on the plants that quite literally keep our world running.
So where should we start? Maybe with that first part, the sheer versatility.
Yeah, let's do that. Because it really is so much more than food.
It is, though
Yeah.
food is the big one,
Yeah, it's
obvious.
the most obvious. But even just within food, the diversity is, well, it's huge. You've got your staple crops first, the energy givers.
Your rice, wheat, maize, corn, we usually say potatoes, cassava, sorghum. They're the foundation, giving us carbohydrates.
And then you need protein, so you've got legumes like lentils and beans, and fats from oil crops, soybean, groundnut, sunflower.
And we can't forget the health boosters, fruits and vegetables.
Oh, definitely. All those vitamins A, C, K minerals like iron, potassium, fiber.
Antioxidants, too. Think tomatoes, spinach, carrots, apples, bananas.
Hmm.
Crucial for, immunity, digestion. It's just keeping us healthy day to day.
And hey, even our drinks often start as crops. Your morning coffee or tea.
Cocoa for chocolate, barley for beer. Yeah, it's all plant-based.
But then, beyond what we eat directly, a massive amount of crop production actually goes into feeding animals.
That's a really important point. Livestock feed. Things like alfalfa and clover, which are forage crops.
Right. Or silage made from maize or sorghum, even the byproducts from processing other crops like bran or those oilseed cakes you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, they're packed with protein. It's a whole layer of agriculture supporting another layer, animal agriculture.
Okay, now here's where I think it gets really interesting, maybe less obvious. The industrial uses.
Oh yeah, this is fascinating. Crops as raw materials for, well, all sorts of things.
Biofuels are a big one, right? Ethanol from corn or sugarcane.
Biodiesel from soybeans, palm oil, even things like jatropha. It's basically capturing the sun's energy in a plant and converting it again.
And then there's fibers. Look at what you're wearing, probably
The
cotton.
dominant natural fiber,
Yeah.
for sure. But you also get linen from flax, and then tougher stuff like hemp and jute.
Right, for ropes, sacks, but now also for really innovative things like biodegradable packaging. That's pretty cool.
It is. And oils aren't just for cooking either. Canola oil, castor bean oil, soybean oil. They end up in paints, soaps, cosmetics.
Even specialized things like biodegradable lubricants. The chemistry inside these plants is just incredibly versatile.
And think about medicine. We have such a long history of using plants for health.
Absolutely. Herbal medicine, aloe vera, turmeric, garlic, ginger, that's ancient wisdom.
But even modern pharmaceuticals rely heavily on crops. Morphine originally came from the opium poppy.
Digitalis, for heart conditions, from the foxglove plant. They're sources of complex compounds we still haven't fully replaced synthetically.
It's a direct link.
And if you zoom out even further, the economic and cultural impact is just massive.
Huge. Millions and millions of people worldwide depend on farming and all the related industries for their livelihood.
And for lots of developing countries, exporting cash crops, coffee, tea, cocoa, cotton is absolutely vital. It's a huge part of their GDP.
Their entire economy might revolve around it.
Culturally, too, crops are often central to rituals, festivals, celebrations of the harvest.
You see it everywhere. Rice in Asian ceremonies, maize in Native American traditions. It's woven into the fabric of society.
And there's an environmental side to this, too, which is sometimes overlooked. Some crops actually improve the environment.
Right, like legumes, we mention them for protein, but they do this amazing thing with bacteria in their roots.
They fix nitrogen, right, pull it from the air and put it into the soil.
Exactly, it's like natural fertilizer. And then cover crops, they protect the soil from washing away, erosion, and improve its structure over time.
Plus, all plants, crops included, are breathing in CO2, photosynthesis. So they play a role, however small individually, in carbon sequestration, mitigating climate change.
And don't forget pollinators. Things like sunflowers or clover fields are vital habitats and food sources for bees and other insects.
Which we need for, well, pollinating other crops too. It's all connected. Maintaining variety helps keep the whole system resilient.
And then just think about processed goods. Walk down any supermarket aisle.
Sugar. From sugarcane or sugar beet. Flour, wheat, rice, millet.
Starches, thickeners in sauces or desserts. Corn, tapioca. Even the syrups and soft drinks often come from corn. Wine from grapes, beer from barley.
It's like crops are the fundamental building blocks for almost everything we eat and drink that isn't, straight from the ground or the animal.
And sometimes it's just about beauty. Sunflowers, ornamental corn, some flowering grains. People grow them just because they look good.
So when you step back and see it all, wow. Food, feed for animals, fuel, fiber for clothes, medicine, industrial chemicals, cultural significance, environmental benefits, even just looking nice.
It's pretty staggering. Crops are just
Everywhere.
underpinning so much of modern life.
It really is. And getting all that from a tiny seed to a usable product, that's the whole process of agriculture, isn't it?
It is that fundamental shift humans made, from just gathering what was there to intentionally cultivating plants, on purpose and at scale.
Which brings up the basic definition. What is a crop, really, in this agricultural sense?
Simply put, it's plants of the same kind, grown together in one place, usually on a pretty large scale.
Because you need that scale, that regular production, to feed billions of people.
Exactly. And what you grow where is hugely dependent on climate, on the seasons. You see distinct patterns all over the world.
Like in India, for instance, you have those two main growing seasons, right?
Yeah, the Kharif season, which is the rainy monsoon season, roughly June to September, that's when you grow things that need a lot of water.
Like paddy rice, maize, soybean, cotton. Paddy especially needs that water.
It needs to be practically flooded, yeah. And then you have the Rabi season, the cooler, drier winter months, say October to March.
And that's when you see crops like wheat, gram, peas, mustard, linseed. Crops adapted to less water and cooler temperatures.
Farmers have spent millennia figuring out these cycles and matching the right crops to the right conditions.
Okay, so let's walk through the basic steps. How do you actually do crop production? It sounds like gardening, but, supersized.
In essence, yeah, the principles are similar, and the absolute first step, arguably the most crucial, is preparing the soil.
Getting the ground ready. This means turning it over, loosening it up, plowing, tilling.
Traditionally done with animals and wooden plows, now often with tractors and cultivators. But the why is important.
Why do it?
Well, first, it lets the plant roots go deeper, find water and nutrients. Second, it aerates the soil, lets the roots breathe.
Okay, that makes sense.
And it helps those beneficial microbes and earthworms thrive. The farmer's friends, they break down organic matter, create humus, improve the soil. Plus, plowing brings nutrient-rich soil from lower down up to the surface.
So you use tools like plows, hoes for weeds and loosening, and these tractor-driven cultivators that save a lot of time and labor, sometimes breaking up big clumps too, right? And leveling the field.
Exactly. Sometimes manure is mixed in at this stage too, before you even plant.
All right, soil's prepped. Step 2, sowing, getting the seeds in.
And choosing the right seeds is key.
Right.
Farmers want good quality, healthy seeds because that directly impacts the yield.
There's that interesting little tip from the source material about floating seeds.
Oh yeah, the simple test. Damaged seeds are often lighter, maybe eaten by insects, so they float in water. Good, healthy seeds sink. It's a low-tech way to sort them.
Clever. And how do you get them in the ground?
Well, traditionally, it might be a funnel-like tool dropping seeds down tubes. But modern farming heavily relies on seed drills.
Attached to tractors again?
Usually, yeah. They do several things at once.
Yeah.
Sow the seeds at a uniform depth and distance apart.
Why is the spacing important?
To avoid overcrowding. Plants need their space to get enough sunlight, water, and nutrients from the soil. If they're too close, they compete, and none of them do well.
Okay. And the seed drill covers the seeds, too.
Yes, which is important. It protects them from being eaten by birds. It's much more efficient, saves time, saves labor, and gives a better start to the crop. Some plants, like paddy, are often started in a nursery first and then transplanted as seedlings.
Right. So seeds are in, now they need food. Step 3, adding manure and fertilizers.
Because plants use up nutrients from the soil as they grow. If you farm the same land year after year, you deplete those nutrients. You have to put them back.
And manure is one way. That's the organic stuff, right? Decomposed plants, animal waste.
Exactly. And manure does more than just add nutrients. It improves the soil structure, makes it more porous so air and water can get in, helps it hold water better, and encourages those helpful soil microbes. It adds humus.
Okay, so manure sounds great. What about fertilizers?
Fertilizers are different. They're chemicals made in factories. Things like urea, potash, NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium,
They're more concentrated.
much more. They provide specific nutrients in high amounts, which can lead to quicker growth and bigger yields. But there's a downside.
What's that?
Over-reliance on chemical fertilizers can harm the soil in the long run. It doesn't add humus, can make the soil less fertile over time, and if it washes off into rivers and lakes.
Air pollution, right.
So it's a balance. Using organic manure is generally better for soil health. Other sustainable practices include crop rotation, planting different crops in sequence.
Especially legumes, to get that nitrogen back in naturally.
Precisely. Or even just letting the land rest, leaving it fallow for a season to recover.
Okay, plants are fed. Next, they need water. Irrigation. Step 4.
Absolutely vital. Plants need water for, well, everything. Growth, germination seeds won't sprout without moisture transporting nutrients inside the plant.
And it even protects them, apparently, from frost and hot air.
Yeah, water helps regulate temperature extremes to some extent. How much water they need varies a lot, though. Depends on the crop, the soil type, the season.
More in summer, obviously, because of evaporation.
Definitely. And the water comes from sources like wells, lakes, rivers, dams, canals.
How do farmers get it to the crops?
Traditionally, you had methods like the moat system with a pulley or a chain pump, or lever systems like the Dekli and Rahat, often using animal or human power.
Cheaper, maybe, but efficient.
Generally less efficient with water. Modern methods focus on using water more economically. Sprinkler systems are good for uneven land, kind of like artificial rain.
Good for coffee plantations, things like that.
Yeah. And then there's drip irrigation. This is really efficient.
How does that work?
Water drips out very slowly, drop by drop, right at the base of the plant near the roots. Almost no water is wasted through evaporation or runoff.
That sounds ideal, especially where water is scarce.
It's a huge boon, especially for fruit orchards, gardens, trees. And of course, you need pumps, diesel, electric, solar-powered to lift the water from the source to the irrigation system.
All right. Plants are growing. They have food and water, but they're not alone out there. Step 5. Protection from weeds.
Ah, yeah, the unwanted guests.
Yeah, huh?
Weeds are just plants growing where you don't want them, competing with your crop.
Competing for what?
Everything. Water, nutrients, sunlight, space. They can seriously stunt the growth of your crop and reduce your yield. Some weeds can even be poisonous or just physically get in the way during harvest.
So you have to get rid of them.
Several ways. Tilling the soil before you even sow helps kill existing weeds. Then there's manual removal, pulling them out by hand or using a tool like a Kirby.
Hard work on a big field.
Very. Sometimes the seed drill itself can help uproot some weeds as it passes, but often farmers turn to chemical control. Weedicides.
Like 2,4-D, that's an example.
Yes, that's a common one. These are chemicals sprayed onto the field that kill the weeds, but are designed not to harm the main crop.
You have to be careful using them, though.
Absolutely. They need to be diluted properly, sprayed at the right time, usually before the weeds flower and produce seeds, and the person spraying needs protection. Covering the nose and mouth is important.
Okay, weeds managed. Months pass. Step 6. Harvesting.
The payoff. After about 3 or 4 months for most cereal crops, they're mature and ready to be cut.
How's that done?
Can be manual, using a sickle, especially for smaller farms. Or, on a larger scale, you use a machine called a harvester.
Just cuts the crop down. Then what? Step 7. Threshing.
Right, you need to separate the actual grain, the part you want, from the rest of the plant, the chaff and straw.
How does that work?
Again, can be manual. For small amounts, farmers might beat the stalks against a hard surface or use animals to tread on them. Then there's winnowing.
Where you use the wind?
Yeah, you toss the mixture in the air, the wind blows the lighter chaff away, and the heavier grain falls down. Simple but effective for smallholders.
But for big operations.
Machines, often a combine, which is short for combined harvester thresher. It cuts the crop, threshes it, and separates the grain, all in one pass. Very efficient.
That stubble issue you mentioned earlier, the leftover stalks, that comes after mechanical harvesting.
Often, yes. Dealing with that residue is a challenge. Burning causes pollution.
Right. And after the harvest, people often celebrate, don't they? Harvest festivals.
Exactly. It's a time of joy after months of hard work. Pongal, Baisakhi, Holi, Diwali. Many festivals are tied to the harvest cycle.
Okay, grain is harvested and threshed, but you can't use it all at once. Step 8, storage.
A critical step. All that hard work is wasted if the grain spoils. You need to protect it from moisture, insects, rats, microorganisms.
What's the biggest threat?
Moisture is a big one. If the grain isn't dry enough, mold and fungi can grow and insects thrive. That's why drying the grains thoroughly in the sun before storing them is so important.
How do people store it?
On a small, household scale, maybe in jute bags or metal bins, sometimes people add dried neem leaves. It's a traditional way to repel insects naturally,
Interesting.
and for large quantities, like commercially.
And then you need proper storage facilities. Silos, those tall cylindrical structures in granaries, which are large warehouses. These often have controlled conditions and might use specific chemical treatments to prevent pests and spoilage over long periods.
Makes sense.
Now, we focused heavily on plants, on crops, but you mentioned animal agriculture earlier.
Right, it's worth just briefly touching on that. A lot of our food also comes from animals. Milk from cows, buffaloes, goats, camels.
Meat, eggs, fish too. Cod liver oil, rich in vitamin D, comes from fish.
Exactly, and the practice of raising these animals for food on a large scale, making sure they have proper food, shelter, and care. That's called animal husbandry,
Another whole area of agriculture, really.
a very important one, also dating back thousands of years.
So there we have it. We've kind of gone full circle, haven't we? From just how deeply crops are woven into, well, everything,
Food, fuel, fabrics, pharmaceuticals, industry, culture.
to the detailed step-by-step process farmers use to actually grow them, from preparing that soil right at the beginning.
Through sowing, feeding, watering, protecting, harvesting, and finally, storing. It's an ancient practice, but constantly adapting.
It really highlights this incredibly complex system, this vital link between what we need as humans and the world of plants.
It really does.
So thinking about all those different uses, some quite surprising, like the industrial oils or the raw materials for medicine, and then considering all the resources needed for production: water, soil health, pest control. What do you think the future holds? How do we keep feeding everyone and supplying these materials sustainably?
That's the billion-dollar question, isn't it? Balancing yield with environmental impact.
Or maybe, are there even more hidden uses for crops out there? Could plants become key materials for industries we haven't even imagined yet?
It's definitely something to think about. The potential within the plant kingdom is still vast.
Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Hopefully you've gained a new appreciation for the journey from field to, well, almost everywhere.